president, the Electoral College, which is quite misunderstood and even if it's understood, quite violated today in today's elections. So the discussion was, how are we going to elect this guy? And what were some of the suggestions that were made? Do you remember? How are we going to elect the president? Somebody says, well, I think we should have Congress elect the president. How would you like that? Somebody says, well, I think we should have the governors of the states elect the president. How would you like that? That'd be better than Congress or worse than Congress? See all these? Somebody says, I think we should have the senators elect the president. And then somebody says, I think we should have the voters elect the president. How you like that? You like that? What did they decide?
Have the voters elect people. State legislators would elect.
Did they say we should have the voters elect the president?
No.
No. Why? Why did they reject the concept of the people electing the president? This is hardly ever understood nowadays. Because you thought that's the way it was, right? It was so new? Well, it could have been. There's still a problem today. Why is it difficult for you to know who to vote for on a national level? You don't know them. Except through how somebody else, what? Packages them. That's what they call in electioneering. Packaging. I know, it sounds like a package of soap, right? But that's exactly the way it is. You have your packagers. You have your people who know exactly how to make you look, how to make you dress. There are certain colors and certain kinds of dress you always have. There are certain mannerisms when you're up speaking before people or before a camera. I mean, there's some real art in packaging and how to answer questions. But how about the person himself? Do you really know him? See, that's the problem. And the founders said, the people won't. And the founders said, you might have groups of people have so much influence that you might not get the best person if you just leave it to the people. You understand? Besides, remember the disadvantage of a pure democracy? You might have the wrong people elect the president. So, what did they decide? They said, here's what we're going to do, and this is spelled out in the Constitution, that each state would choose electors, presidential electors. They will only be chosen for one job. What is it? To find and elect the best person they know of to be president. So originally, what was the job of the people or their representatives in the legislature? To find somebody who will go out and find electors. We'll talk about that process in a minute. But how many electors should there be? How many electors is any state going to find? Huh? You count up your number of senators and your number of representatives, and that is the total number of electors you are entitled to. Okay? Do you see here that some states may be represented a little stronger than other states in the Electoral College? Who would have the advantage there? Pardon me? Well, I should say it this way. Yes, the large states would have more, but the people in the states, would they be represented all equally? In other words, would the people of Wyoming be represented as equally as the people of New York? Think that through with me. In any state would be entitled to at least how many electors? Three. One for each senator and one for the representative, which no matter how many people. If you've only got, well, I guess you'd have to have at least three, but If you got 10 people in a state, you got 3 electoral votes. That's pretty powerful representation per person, right? If you have a state with a lot of people, you got still 2 senators and the number of representatives. So who has the advantage here? The small states. Was that on purpose? Yes, because the founders said it's okay to give a little advantage to the rural states, to the rural people, rather than letting who control all the time? The huge masses of people. And as you study history, you come to the conclusion that better decisions are generally made if you keep the rural people involved and if you give them a little preference. Something about rural that seems to like to maintain the status quo, and whether it's a little more emphasis on values than the teeming masses in the cities. Not always, but usually you see that trend. So, representatives plus senators, that was the number. Once you have this